All right, we need to talk. We have a critical security alert. And if you're working with AI, you need to listen up. We're talking about a major compromise in a library that tons of you are probably using right now, LiteLLM. This is an urgent heads up about what happened, why it matters, and what you need to do, like, today. So let me just ask you this straight up. Are you 100% sure your SSH keys are safe? What about your cloud API keys? Your crypto wallets? Are you sure? Because what we're about to go over might make you think twice. Here it is, the bottom line. A hugely popular AI library was booby-trapped to steal credentials. And if you've installed or updated it in the last few days, well, it's very possible your secrets have already been beamed directly to an attacker. Okay, so let's dig into the details. We're going to break down exactly what happened here and really get into why this should be a massive red flag for pretty much the entire AI world. Look at this number, 97 million. That's not total downloads, that's the number of monthly downloads for LiteLLM. Yeah, this isn't some tiny, obscure package. This is core infrastructure. Thousands upon thousands of projects depend on this thing to run. And here's why it's so massive. LiteLLM is basically a universal translator for AI models. You know how you have all these different APIs for OpenAI, Anthropic, Cohere, you name it? Well, LiteLLM lets your code talk to any of them through one single interface. It's a game changer for developers, which, of course, is exactly what made it such a juicy target. And this wasn't just, hacking one company. No, this was far more clever. It was a supply chain attack. And this analogy just nails it. Instead of trying to hit one person, you poison the well that the whole town drinks from. By compromising a library with 97 million monthly downloads, the attackers basically built a Trojan horse that thousands of people would willingly pull inside their walls. So, the big question, how did they actually pull this off? Let's pop the hood and really dissect this thing. We're going to look at how the malware was built to steal your data so quietly right from under your nose. The real nasty trick here, the core of the whole attack, was the use of a .pth file. Now, if you haven't run into these before, a .pth file is special. It gets automatically executed by Python every single time the interpreter starts up. You don't have to import LiteLLM, you don't have to run a single line of its code. The second you type Python in your terminal for any reason, this malware wakes up and gets to work. It's incredibly sneaky. And once it was running, the malware was brutally efficient. It followed the simple three-step plan. First, it would collect a massive amount of data from your system. Then, to cover its tracks, it would encrypt that data package. And finally, it would exfiltrate, or send, that package out to a server the attacker controlled. Collect, encrypt, exfiltrate. Devastatingly simple. And when I say it collected data, I'm not kidding. It was like a digital tornado. It searched your machine for the absolute crown jewels: AWS, Google Cloud, Azure credentials. It hoovered up your SSH private keys, your Kubernetes configs, your Git credentials, and then, just to be sure, it copied all of your environment variables. Where we all store our API keys. But it didn't stop there. Oh no, the malware also grabbed your entire shell history, because who hasn't accidentally typed a password into the command line, right? It hunted for database connection strings, crypto wallet files, secrets from your CI/CD pipelines like Terraform and Jenkins, and it even scraped your machine for Slack and Discord webhooks. This wasn't just grabbing keys, this was a full system shakedown. So after it packaged all this stolen data up and encrypted it with a super strong key, it sent it off to this address, models.littlelm.cloud. See how clever that is? It looks so similar to the real domain, littlelm.ai, that it would just blend right in with normal network traffic. A very slick bit of typo squatting. So if this malware was so stealthy, how on earth did anyone find it? Well, this is where the story gets pretty wild. It wasn't brilliant security research. It was pure dumb luck. That's right. The only reason this whole thing came to light is because the attackers, for all their cleverness, made a huge mistake. Their sophisticated malware had a really dumb bug. So what was the bug? Well, remember how that .pth file runs every time Python starts? The malware would spawn a new process to do its dirty work. But guess what? That new process also started the Python interpreter, which triggered the .pth file again, which spawned another process, which spawned another. You see where this is going. It was a fork bomb. It created an infinite loop that just ate up all the system's memory until the machine just crashed. So instead of being quiet and sneaky, it was incredibly loud and clumsy. Thank goodness for that bug. Okay, so that's the problem. Now let's talk about the solution. This is your immediate action plan. Here is exactly what you need to do right now to lock down your systems. First things first, you need to know what to look for. The two malicious versions are right here, 1.82.7 and 1.82.8. If you have either of those, you are compromised. Any version 1.82.6 or earlier is considered safe. So step 1 is to find out what you're running. Here is your 5-step playbook. Please follow this to the letter. Number 1, check your version. 2, get that malicious package off your system. 3, rotate all your credentials. 4, check for any backdoors. And 5, think about how to harden your dependencies for the future. Now, when you check your version, you have to be thorough. Don't just check your main system Python. Run pip show LiteLLM absolutely everywhere. Check every single virtual environment you have. Go through your Docker containers. Scour the dependency lists in your CI/CD pipelines. This thing could be hiding anywhere in your development workflow. Okay, I really need you to hear me on this. Step 3 is the most critical. If you find an infected version on any machine, you have to assume that every single secret on that machine is gone. I mean, everything. Your SSH keys, your cloud keys, API tokens, database passwords, all of it. Consider them public knowledge. You must rotate every single one. Do not cut corners here. This is not optional. All right, once you've rotated your credentials, it's time to go hunting for leftovers. The malware tried to create persistence, so you need to look specifically for a file at this path, /usernamesconfig/sysmon. Then check for a systemd service that might be trying to restart it. And if you're using Kubernetes, you need to audit your cluster for any weird pods, especially any that have a name starting with node-setup. You know, this whole incident is a really harsh wake-up call for all of us. So, as we wrap up, let's just take a second to think about the bigger picture here and what this breach really means for the way we build software today. Look, supply chain attacks are on the rise for one simple reason. They work. So much of modern software is built on this huge, towering stack of open source dependencies. It's a massive chain of trust, and an attacker only needs to break one link. This whole mess forces us to ask a really uncomfortable question. In a world where we're all connected like this, how much can you really trust your next pip install?